Welcome to Friday, TGIF. It's May 2nd, 2025. Your day weather podcast being brought to you by ConversCountyTourism.com. Feel the energy of Converse County. Explore Douglas's railroad heritage, Ayers Natural Bridge, and the Jackalope legend. Glen Rock boasts scenic trails, dinosaur history, and small town charm. Plan your visit at ConversCountyTourism.com. Well, there's a spring shot for you. Out of southwest Colorado, some snow on the grassy areas, but not on the pavement, and the sun peeking on through. And this is all part of a trend towards high pressure for a 3-day period here, building into the Intermountain West, aided by a storm coming in along the west coast. Now, over the weekend, for you folks between the Pacific and the Continental Divide, even into the southwestern United States, there's going to be, I'd call it garden variety shower and thunderstorm activity, as moisture coming in with that system and daytime heating will trigger some buildup of clouds, and some of those will turn into showers and thunderstorms. That'll certainly be the case today, more so tomorrow. Now on Sunday, the thunderstorm coverage expands a little bit, gets to some areas east of the divide by Sunday afternoon and evening. But embedded in all this is a warm-up and really a nice springtime weather pattern across the region. That large cutoff low for early next week is still on track. Now, who gets the best rain is going to be these really fine little minute details. So I'm not even going to show you the rain prediction charts, because one little wobble could take you into some really good rain. It could take you out, as there's going to be some subtle little differences when this low gets cut off as it meanders in the west. However, high confidence that between Monday and Thursday of next week, there will be some areas east of the divide that get a really good rain. It's just where exactly that concentration of the best rain will be. It's going to be where the deepest upslope is and where the areas are going to be underneath the low the longest. Some shots like this, very common look across the region here over the last few days, with those dark clouds and the showers. Some areas getting some shower activity that added up to quite a bit, as we showed you yesterday, and some areas that just got enough to settle the dust. And in southwest Colorado, you might be saying, well, we saw a snow squall yesterday in the podcast. Well, you're going to see it again today, because 2 days in a row, the snow squalls around the Leadville, Colorado area in southwest Colorado. Look at that definition there, that straight line of where the heavier snow squall was, where the heavier part of the shower was. You'll see that, especially this time of year, when you get these heavier showers and you get a really sharp definition of the rain or snow shaft. Beautiful shot there of a sun pillar in between rain showers that moved through southeastern Wyoming yesterday, as you can see there. And beautiful shot, a lot of color there up in Glen Rock, Wyoming yesterday afternoon and evening. And those showers yesterday were quite numerous in many areas. They were better at making it windy than producing much rain, but we'll take what we can get. Antelope out there enjoying the greener grass that's shooting up in those areas that have gotten the better moisture up into Johnson County, Wyoming. Beautiful shot there, Mammoth Mountain, California, awaiting the next low that's going to be sliding in. Also, here's a great shot of sunspot, a big sunspot, 4079. Jan Curtis shot this. Now, a reminder that this was taken with a lot of filters. Don't try to look at the sun to see the sunspot. But for you aurora watchers and trackers out there, kind of keep an eye on your apps or what you use to track aurora, as this sunspot may produce some activity later on down the road here that could present itself some geomagnetic storm activity. Satellite photo this morning shows why we're going to have a lot of fair weather here in the coming days. Look at that gap between the low up here in the Gulf of Alaska and this high pressure ridge that's building in between it. We'll see showers and thunderstorms out here in the plains as yesterday's wave heads into there. A little bit of a closer look to the next weather maker. And here it is, the water vapor loop showing the low up here just south and east of Anchorage. So you're going to see this upper level low in the Gulf of Alaska be the weather maker later on. So there it is. Here's our high. we have this little tiny disturbance down here in the southwestern United States. So this is going to produce a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity in this area today. Nothing widespread, but there'll be a little bit of activity underneath that high. Then as we get into Sunday morning, that low in the Gulf of Alaska really dive bombs south very quickly along the west coast and then is settling into the Great Basin. There's that cutoff low that's going to make a rainy Kentucky Derby, and it kind of looks like two eyeballs here across the United States. You could draw a picture with that the way it's looking. With these two cutoff lows, as we mentioned yesterday, is going to make things a little complicated and really add to the wobble. As we look at thunderstorm potential today, there's the showers and thunderstorms that may pop up with that little tiny upper level low in the southwestern United States. So going to be a little bit of activity in the mountains of northern Arizona and into New Mexico and into the Sierra. Then as we get into Saturday, this is where the thunderstorms become a little more commonplace. Across the Great Basin, you can see where the low is dragging moisture in and instability. Just a couple of isolated cells Saturday elsewhere across the Rockies. Then on Sunday, you'll see this axis here shift more this way. And there it is. So showers and thunderstorms become more numerous Sunday afternoon and evening. So today and Saturday, thunderstorm coverage kind of spotty, more in the western areas. Once we get into Sunday, your afternoon and evening, thunderstorm chances really go up. But at the same time, warm air gets drawn into the system, and that's going to lead to the warmer high pressure. Now, by Monday morning, that low's in northwest Arizona. We still have the cutoff in the Midwest. And then it's going to be another 12 to 24 hours, and then this system gets cut off. Now, what's going to be interesting is there's a little pocket of energy that either will come into and aid the development of this low or not stay there and go along the U.S.-Canadian borders. So this is kind of a wild card. It is going to cut off, but will this energy come in to help kind of spin this up a little bit more or not? And that's something that we're just going to have to address when we get to Monday. Then as we get into Tuesday, notice there's barely any movement and it ends up in the four corners. The cutoff is complete. The upper level low finally moves out of the Midwest more towards the Great Lakes. Counterclockwise spinning of the atmosphere now takes up into this low, and that draws low-level moisture northwestward out of the Gulf and into the region. So what that will do by staying there, so that's Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Notice it doesn't move very much, but it also weakens. But the circulation is still there. So that is going to take us through Wednesday. So basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday into early Thursday morning, this upper level low is going to reside, camp out over the Four Corners region. And that counterclockwise spin is what brings the upslope to areas along and east of the Continental Divide. From West Texas to New Mexico through Colorado and into parts of Wyoming, where the east and southeast flow is going to be the most dominant. The precipitable water, as we showed you yesterday, gets wrapped around, and there's a good 3-day period there of being in the green and the blue, especially along and east of the divide into these areas right here. So that area that I just outlined are the areas that are likely going to be in the best upslope area. Showers and thunderstorms will bring heavier moisture further east into Kansas and Oklahoma and Texas as well later on. So the placement is either going to shift that better area of moisture a little south, or it could go a little bit north. So what you don't want, if you're on these edges, like the edge here and the edge here, one little shift, south or north, could really determine where the heavier moisture will be. So when we talk to you on Monday, we'll show you the precipitation charts. We can tell you with a high degree of confidence it is going to rain along and east of the divide in that oval area that I just showed you. It's just going to be where is the concentration of the deepest moisture and the best rainfall going to be. Temperatures will be cold enough that snow levels will be falling into obviously the mountain areas, but maybe Monday night into Tuesday morning and into Wednesday morning getting a little bit lower, and that'll be something to keep an eye on. If we compare the models like we've been doing all week, kind of focusing a little bit, this is for Tuesday morning. So we have the two low centers here and right here by the Four Corners area. The European looks like that. The AI version is different. And we have to watch this because what the AI is saying is that little piece of energy I showed you earlier, which is represented by this lobe in the basic European model, is a little bit more intense in the AI version. And what that does is that changes the shape of the flow between this being more circular flow to this one here being more oblong. And that really makes a difference because it changes the direction of the upslope and the intensity of the upslope. The GFS model is a little bit further north, more towards Grand Junction. And the Canadian model is like the AI model. It's got that lobe swinging around. So that little lobe, that little piece of energy we showed you could be a difference maker in where the focus of the heavier rain will be. So we'll just have to wait a couple more days and get a little bit more into the detail and what will take shape with that system. Have yourself a great Friday. Have a great weekend.